that had a full-time sponsor like Slim Jim and race out of a facility like this, and he's certainly looking forward to it. Bill Weber had an opportunity to sit down and talk with him while we were here.
In 1991, David Green burst onto the Grand National scene by taking the pole for the Goodies 300 season opener at Daytona. It was the beginning of a solid rookie season that saw David collect 9 top 10 finishes, battle for Rookie of the Year honors, and capture his first victory, winning at Lanier Raceway in Georgia. Then following the season, David lost his ride, but not his pride, and went to work on Bobby Labonte's Slim Jim team.
You had tremendous success in 1991 driving the A car. Then you laid out all of 1992 and were very busy and efficient here, but that not being behind the wheel with a guy with your background must have been tough.
Yeah, it was. You know, the hardest thing was going to Daytona the year prior to that, sitting on the pole, so it was tough. And but, you know, I learned a whole lot. I learned a whole lot about other drivers, meaning Bobby and Terry. I learned a lot of things that I really didn't feel comfortable in talking about. They feel the same way. So, you know, they're human just like the rest of us are. So I learned a whole lot in that deal. And I did get to run a couple races, you know, and when I did get behind the wheel, it was I tried to wear it out all in 5 minutes there, you know, but I've learned how to be a part of a championship deal, and that's been a big change from what I've been used to.
David made his mark as a driver during the late 80s in NASCAR's All-American Challenge Series. He had 5 wins and 47 top 10 finishes and 90 starts. Meanwhile, he continued to work as a car builder for Day Enterprises in Nashville. That's how we met the Labontes.
Well, David is a good friend of mine, and he called me after he lost his ride the year before last, after the end of '91, and asked me basically what should he do. And I said, well, I have no idea. You know, I don't know what you should do. And it didn't take me about 2 minutes to realize that I needed to have him over working for me at the time, because I needed some people working, and hoping he'd get a ride, you know, just basically just be seen in North Carolina.
You know, the biggest thing was, you know, his confidence in me, whether it be spotting, sitting up on top of the truck, or just whatever. He never made me feel like that I was just there just to be standing around, you know, so that meant a whole lot.
In 1993, David returns to race in the Busch Series, taking over one of the most prominent rides on the circuit, the 1991 Series champion and the runner-up in '92. He knows his name on the car means extra pressure to perform when he's in it, because this is more than just another seat in a very competitive series. It's a piece of a proud racing family.
And it means an awful lot, and it probably won't sink into tomorrow or Daytona or whatever, that I'm driving a race car for the Labontes, you know, and that's somebody that you watched race for years, and it's awful special. I mean, this is, I guess, the first time I think that anybody's drove their race cars that weren't in the family, so to speak, so that means a whole lot.
In 1991, David posted 6 top 5 finishes and wound up 13th in points. In 1993, his personal goal is to surpass the achievements of his rookie season and emerge from the shadows of success cast by his car owner. During the '92 season, he watched, listened, and learned, and confesses his layout has sharpened his awareness of the business of racing.
I really say that what happened 2 years ago with me was probably a turn for the better, you know, because now this opportunity's here, and being associated with these people and seeing their everyday operation of a championship team, the relation with that and relation with a major sponsor is something I've never dealt with before. It's really brought me more aware of what it takes to run an everyday deal in a championship form, you know. So it's really opened my horizon into racing. It's not only on the racetrack now, it's from the time you get up and go through the gate to the time you leave.
In 1993, David Green does not want to replace Bobby Labonte. He simply wants to carry on the team's winning tradition.
His famous words were, you know, I know you don't want to work for me forever, that you want to drive, but I'd like for you to work for me forever. So maybe he had an insight then that I'd be working for him, not as a worker, but for a driver. But and it was awful tough throughout the year. You know, people would say, well, is this going to happen? And I said, well, I like for it to, but I'm not going to get excited, you know. And maybe I'll get excited when this is over, but because it really hadn't sunk in yet. But it's going to be real neat.